Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Front Clips. Today we're going to be making a video covering the modern day Minuteman and how many magazines I believe you need to carry if you consider yourself part of the militia, a partisan, or a modern day Minuteman. So if you guys do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Let's get into the video. To start things off, I want to cover plate carrier setups and the amount of magazines that I see people carrying on average today in today's day and age in the gun community, whatever it might be. Most people on their plate carrier setups, I'm noticing they're only carrying a 3 magazine placard, and you guys can see I have that on here, but I also have another magazine under this armpit and under this armpit. So altogether on this carrier setup currently, I have a 5 magazine loadout plus 1 in the gun, so I have 6 mags. That's 1 mag less from an average combat loadout for the infantry, but I would still recommend you guys have more mags than 7 mags on tap. So when it comes to being a Minuteman or being part of the militia, a partisan, we're not going to have the same supply chain or resupply logistic capability as the military industrial complex. We're not going to have the backup of the US government backing us in any scenario like this. So knowing that you guys have to be your own resupply, your own backup, your own stockpile has to already be had, and you have to have ways to replenish what you already have spent. Okay? I would not recommend everybody have, or anybody for that matter, anyone within the gun community, I would never recommend you guys just have a triple magazine placard and call that a day. Like that's just not a smart idea. Maybe for a home defense scenario, you'd only need 1 mag, so this could do. But really, to be honest, this plate carrier with this setup is not for a home defense scenario. This is more for temporary to long-term civil unrest, depending on whatever you may need to use this sort of equipment for, right? But basically what I'm getting at here is you guys need to ditch your triple magazine placards, and if you don't get rid of them, you at least need to add more magazines on the side to your carrier where your side plates would sit, okay? Because having 3 mags at a minimum is just not okay. I keep 5 mags on here. What I would recommend is you guys carry 6 to 7 mags at a minimum. I would say 7 because that's the average infantry loadout. If you guys got a 7 mag loadout, you automatically got 210 rounds. That's a good little mini combat loadout. I would still personally recommend myself for the modern day Minuteman that you carry more on you for different activities, certain scenarios, right? If you're in an urban environment, I would say 5 to 6 mags could be good. If you're out in the mountains, in the woods, I would say 7 to 12 mags at a minimum, depending on the number that you choose within between that, should be mandatory. I still think 7 mags in the woods and mountains is cutting it really low. I would go 8 to 9 at a minimum and 12 to 14 on the high end. Because you could easily carry 8 to 9 mags on your chest, on a chest rig type setup. And then if you have a pack on you, you could carry another 6 to 7 mags in there, no problem. That's what I think people who consider themselves a modern day Minuteman should be prioritizing their gear towards. Having more load bearing capability. I think people should have more gear that gears them towards sustainment rather than short term assault type action things. Like, we're not going to be a direct action unit. We're not going to be doing any assaults. God forbid if we're ever doing any of that. We're going to be taking the worst action and the worst decision we could have ever made because we are not trained Navy SEALs. We are not Delta Force. We are just not Tier 1 units. And even if we did have the training, they still have an attrition rate and they still lose people. So if those guys could got on a CQB situation, who's to say that your average Minuteman or militia member is not going to succumb to those scenarios? I mean, they are. You're going to lose people. There's going to be an attrition rate, and you can only lose so many people when it comes to a militia setting. I mean, it's not like we have a replenishment of government recruits coming in, right? We don't have the backup of the military logistics or their supply chain. So you guys got to really think about how you're taking action and how you're striking on an enemy. There's this one book I read called The Way of the Flea, talking about guerrilla warfare. And it's kind of just that quote within itself kind of really strikes within me, because you are kind of like a flea on a giant dog, antagonizing it until it can't take it anymore. You're causing such little disruptions until the disruptions become massive disruptions. That's basically the point of a guerrilla fighter, or what you're trying to accomplish here. Another thing I want to mention in this video and bring up when it comes to modern day Minutemen and guerrilla fighters, if you guys aren't fit, if you aren't practicing your physical fitness, your cardio and your strength, practicing with lifting weights, you guys achieving your full optimal capability as a Minuteman or a partisan, okay? You guys need to really consider your fitness and take it up as something of priority. All of us are in different physical conditions and have different capabilities when it comes to that. But if you are a young fighting age male, you guys really need to take this up of importance, okay? And you need to really accelerate your fitness. But yeah, if you guys are considering yourself to be a modern day Minuteman, someone that's part of the militia or a partisan, you need to start focusing on your fitness, and you need to do it today. If you're already fit, then you don't have much to worry about. Just stay consistent, keep doing what you're doing and doing the part. But if you're out of shape or somebody who's less fortunate, like I said, all of us have different physical capabilities and different physical conditions. You may have an injury you're working with, you may be elderly, whatever it may be, you may be a pregnant woman. But if you're a young fighting age male who is not dealing with a debilitating injury, something that's leaving you permanently or temporarily disabled, you guys need to really just work on your physical fitness and get it up right away. It's a big priority. You need to be able to run. You need to be able to carry all your weight, and there's no time for complaining and not being able to do that. If you're part of this and you're in the shit with people, you need to be able to be in the shit with people, okay? So that's kind of just a little side rant about fitness. I see a lot of people, and I know people personally who want to be into preparedness or who are into preparedness, but they're not preparing their body physically and themselves mentally. So that's something you really need to do. It's a very big deal when it comes to modern day preparedness and being a modern day Minuteman. But back to the magazine loadout. When it comes to magazines, for a number, I see a lot of dudes make videos like this and they don't throw out an exact number. So if you guys have made it this far in the video, I'm gonna throw you guys an exact number out there. My exact number for the minimum that a modern day Minuteman should have on all of his kit at all times should be 7 mags. That there could be some variances to that, depending on, like with this kit right here, this is a quick response urban type of kit. I'm not going to use this most of the time in the mountains unless I'm at a defense fixed fighting position, right? But on this kit, I have 5 mags plus 1 in the gun that gives me 6, plus I got much more in my pack. So I have 6 on me, and I'll have like 6 to 7 more in the pack. So I got 12 to 13 mags. But on your body at all times, on a chest rig, on a plate carrier, whatever your fighting load is that's on your chest, you guys need to have 7 mags ready to go at all times as the infantry standard. And I would even try to bump that up when it comes to chest rigs, 8 to 9 mags. I mean, you could easily do that. You could fit 4 mags in the front right here, 2 right here, 6, and another 2 right here. I mean, that's 10 mags right there. It's very simple, and it's not hard to achieve. It may be a little bit heavy, but when you guys are wearing body armor and all of this stuff anyways, it all gets heavy regardless. So it just depends, what do you want to carry? What weight do you want to carry? I'd rather have weight and ammo than plates if I'm moving in the mountains, in the hills for 10 miles plus. Now, if I'm going to be in an urban environment and I'm only moving 5 miles at the max and I'm just moving through a downtown area, I want to have body armor on me because there's too many buildings, there's too many exposed windows, and there's too many people around. The population is too big, so it ups the chance of me taking a round to the back or somewhere randomly, someone just taking a pot shot out of a window. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not combat experienced here, but I feel like that's just common sense. Common sense, if you're in an urban scenario, in an urban environment, you're more likely to be ambushed by those buildings because people have much more hiding spots, okay? More areas they can take cover. So just be aware of that. Be aware of the purposes of your kit, how you have it set up. I think chest rigs should be outfitted for sustainment, and I think micro rigs are kind of pointless. If you're rocking a micro rig, you might as well be wearing a plate carrier because a plate carrier is essentially a micro rig within itself that has plates. If you're rocking a micro rig, you're defeating the whole purpose of a chest rig within itself. In my opinion, you need to be able to sustain yourself for at least a day, or at least 24 hours off your chest rig when it comes to having water procurement methods, snacks, food, possible shelter. You could carry a poncho on the back or within one of your sustainment pouches. There's a lot of ways you guys could go about building kit and building out chest rigs and sustainment kits, but long story short, if you're a modern day Minuteman, you need no less than 7 mags at all times. And on the high end, you guys need to have at least 9 to 12 mags, okay? But that's basically what I got for today's video. Just a quick video covering my opinion, my outlook on magazines, and why I believe everybody carries way too small of an amount of ammunition when it comes to a fighting capability. Like, from all the dudes who've been in the GWAT, Global War on Terror, if you don't know what that's called, or even previous wars. I've heard my grandpa was in Vietnam. All these dudes from different theaters of war have always talked about running out of ammunition being one of the worst things. And There's never a scenario in a gunfight or in a war, whatever you want to call it, where you want less ammo than your enemy. If you have more ammo, you're having the cheating advantage, and that's what you always want. You always want to have the advantage over them having a disadvantage. You never want to make it a fair fight. You want to cheat as much as possible when it comes to things like gunfights. This is a fight for life and death, right? So just think about it, be realistic, and put more than 3 mags on your carrier. But yeah, basically what I got for today. I'll have more videos coming out like this later on today or later this week. And yeah, it's FP out.